The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
TBS, America's #1 independent television network, presents the following sports exclusive.
You're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes.
And check out every episode of the show at basicallysports.tumblr.com.
Now here's your hosts, Zach,
Greg, Mike.
And this is Andy, and you're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
I just had a craving to watch a meaningless baseball game that was played in the daytime. So I found a game on YouTube. Is this Cubs Cardinals game? I guess which is not meaningless necessarily, but it was like in May and just was a day game. Crowd was pretty sparse. Full game was on YouTube though, so I just sat there and watched.
So basically, the equivalent of a hockey game on a Tuesday night in November,
essentially. I mean, it's the same. I would say it's the same meal but a different meat.
Yeah,
that's a weird way to put it, but yeah, like just sort of just felt like that craving, and for whatever reason, I've just been wanting to watch some. I don't want to watch some like bowling from the 2000s either. I want to watch some 90s bowling with terrible hair and bad fashion. I mean, which is still in bowling, but this perpetuates throughout the crowd and everything too. It's fascinating. The commercials are in it too. It's fantastic.
Oh, the old commercials?
Oh yeah. Here, I'll put it.
That's even better.
It's where's the chat? There it is.
That's even better.
Oh yeah. I mean, I haven't made it very far. I'm just getting started, but like the ads are totally in there. Let me see if I can find there's like a John Elway one where he's in a Broncos uniform. This is great.
I came across an Onion article that said like sports fans getting desperate enough to watch kids play in backyard.
Is Zach in here?
I'm here.
Okay.
He's waiting. He's hearing
inside.
He's sitting there going, will you guys shut up so I can talk about the Rams uniforms? Oh, Zach, I'm just so sorry. I'm so sorry.
So I'm not even a Rams fan, and what Andy said in the chat, if you just scroll up, I'm definitely in the defeated silence category. Like, I don't know what it is about. Like, there have been bad uniforms before, but this one kind of like broke me.
It's a heartbreaker. Like, it really is. Like, I mean, I'm just going to kind of, give way to Zach here in a second, but like, I did a helmet ranking for the board, whatever months ago, and the Rams were number one, like that white on the blue with the white face mask. I love that helmet. It's all gone now. It's all dead. It's dead now.
Go ahead.
No, it's just kind of a national day of mourning for
I just want to point out, for the sake of history and for the sake of what is being lost, the color has changed, but that ram horn design had remained unchanged for 70 years.
It was
just putting that in context. I'm putting that in context for what happens.
If you had to pick the top 3 most iconic helmets in the NFL, probably the Cowboys is number 1. None of us like that, but that's the way it is. The Rams have to be number 2, right? Where it's the most recognizable. Just you see it, you immediately know who it is. Everything else, right?
I'd say the top. If you want to do top 3, and I'd say it's probably Cowboys, Rams, and Raiders.
Yeah.
In terms of just what people would know.
So they did the one thing that we all agreed upon they should not do: change the helmet. That was the one thing we said. Do your worst if you have to. Please don't. But if you have to do your worst on the uniforms, go ahead, leave the helmet alone. And what blows my mind is that the Rams claim they listen to the fans, and this is what the fans wanted, which I think is absolute total
Twitter
nonsense.
Seems to indicate otherwise.
Anyway, let's let the Rams fan get in here, and we've probably got about a half hour. We can grab a bite to eat or something if you want, guys. So go ahead, Zach.
I feel like Charlton Heston on the beach.
You maniacs! You blew it.
You
up.
blew it. God damn you all to hell.
What the hell? Wow.
Like you just said, Greg, if there's anyone. Like, I knew you were going to fuck with the goddamn uniforms. And I knew when the goddamn gradient was on that logo, I'm like, son of a bitch, that's going to be on the uniform. But I swear to Christ, you can't touch the helmet. You can't. You fucking can't. Do the Yankees fuck with the pinstripes?
No.
Do the Lakers? Well, I guess the Lakers have changed.
Let's not talk about the NBA. All right.
Yeah, I guess none of those are good examples. Would you take the blue stripe off the blue Blanca Rouge of the Canadians? No, you fucking don't.
Well,
And so you don't take, as you say, one of the, if not the iconic helmet design, the first team to put a logo on the fucking helmet, the team that made this a staple of football uniforms, and you just slice it up. You make it shorter. You modernize it. Look at it. Isn't it grand? Fuck you people. Like,
you know what you can tell, like, the excitement that people had was not for the uniforms. It was for 5 years from now, because almost everyone, like, collectively, whether it's the board or Twitter or anything, it's all like, see in 5 years, because that's when the real fire uniforms are going to be out, is in 5 years when they dump this piece of shit back where it belongs, in the dumpster. With
I mean, Dr.
it's just like
Dr. Donald Blake using Thor's secret identity name from Marvel in the comments section of the the CCSLC news post said, "Gotta hand it to LA. The Rams gave it a valiant effort. They saw the Falcons uniforms and said, we can do worse."
I think when you take it from what they had to what they ended up as, it's way worse than the Falcons.
I think so. So I came down on this, and I think the Falcons might have the overall uglier uniform, but at least it's cohesive within.
And not only that, but they didn't fall nearly as far.
Mm-hmm.
The Falcons uniforms before these new ones weren't very good either. The Rams, it's like these two teams had one thing, and I hate to do they had one job thing, but you had one job. You knew the uniform everybody wanted you to go to. Very simple process. The Falcons, everybody wanted them to go to the throwback, the red helmet, the black jersey, that bit. The Rams, everybody said, you know what? Put them in the throwbacks, call it a day. That's simple. That's all you had to do. And they both, I mean, it's like missing a 3-inch putt and knocking it into the fucking water hazard at the same time. It's unbelievable.
Arash Markazi of the LA Times, he's a columnist for the sports section. He's written for ESPN before. I'm sure people have heard of him. I've read a lot from, like, I'm glad to see, like, people in the mainstream sports media, like, not just parroting what the Rams have said about it, and just because I see a lot of times that sports writers, they don't take sides when the team they cover releases a uniform. They just describe it and, let those that want to make their opinions, and they just say, no, this is what it is now. They don't, and I find a lot of sports writers have no uniform taste, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, they don't.
But Markazi put out a column that hits the nail on the head more than I've seen anything else written about the uniforms. I'm just going to read a couple things. I have like 2 passages that I want to read. So the first starts with a quote from Kevin Demoff, the Rams COO. They told us they wanted the horns, Kevin Demoff said in March when the team revealed its logo. They said they wanted blue and yellow, and that's what they did. No, that's actually not what happened. Rams fans wanted their horns back. They wanted their blue back, and they wanted their yellow back.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, sure, yes. Is there a horn in the helmet? Sure damn is. Are the colors blue and yellow? Yep. Is it the horn? No. The blue and yellow I actually like. The colors are the only thing they've gotten right in this whole damn process.
Yeah, the colors are great. I agree. Colors are great.
The other thing that he put in here, while the Lakers and Dodgers may occasionally tinker with their uniforms, they understand and appreciate their history, what the symbols mean to the city. The Rams have never understood or appreciated their history in Los Angeles and what their classic uniforms and horns mean to their fans. They didn't need to reimagine something. The fans just wanted their Rams back, iconic uniforms and all, nothing more and nothing less. Demoff told reporters before the jersey unveiling, jerseys and logos in sports become part of the lexicon and become iconic because of what players do in them, not because of what the design is. So we're really excited to see it come to life. The core of that statement is correct, but the Rams' actions based on that fact are wrong. The Rams' uniforms and logo became iconic not only because of what Dickerson, Youngblood, Jones, Gabriel did in them, but the connection that was built between them and their fans over a span of 50 years. Those helmets and the uniform in that helmet represented the thread that connected generations of Rams fans. This wasn't about a bad redesign. It's about ignoring the significance of what the old design represented.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
Yeah.
And this shows that whether it's just Demoff or whether it's the design team, whether it's Nike, whoever was involved in this process, yes, the Rams stated for a long time that when they came back to LA, they were trying to treat themselves as like a new team coming back into town. But the only reason they were accepted back into town is because they used to be here. People wanted the Rams back not because they wanted any old football team. They wanted the Los Angeles Rams. They wanted the horns on the helmet. They wanted the blue and yellow. They wanted that team that was Dickerson, that was Jack Youngblood, that was Vince Ferragamo, that was Deacon Jones,
Dieter Brock,
all that. Yes, they wanted all those guys, and you threw that all away because you wanted to be modern and new, and you wanted to somehow make up this bullshit of, well, we're connecting the past to the future. Like the entire, like, I hate a lot of things about all this, but the thing that every time I look at it, I'm struck by the colors, and I say, wow, they really got the blue and yellow right. And I look at the jersey for a second, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'm going to soften up, and maybe I will eventually buy one of these things. And then my eyes drift ever so slowly down to the bottom half of the numbers. And I can't do it. I cannot fucking do it. Because the thing that is like the epitome of what is wrong with this entire design process is in the numbers. You want it because they wanted to do the thing of, because they came back and they couldn't change the uniforms immediately or didn't want to. So they tried to make the halfway measure by putting the white horns on the helmet. And so they thought that oh, well, clearly fans in LA, that's the Ram uniform they want. Well, they kind of waited as, well, some people want the white and some people want the yellow, but everybody wants the blue. And so to try to appease everybody, they went to this, which, like, yes, there were some people that liked the white and blue, but that's not what people wanted. That's not what 80% of the people, whenever I went to the Rams games, went out in public, went to, the bars on Sunday to go watch a game, everybody's wearing the blue and gold. It wasn't a difficult decision to make, but they overthought all of it. They overthought the meaning of the uniforms. And we can get into all this bullshit with the bone uniforms too, and what the colors mean, and what they represent,
I
what
have
they're
things
approaching.
to say about
But when it comes to just the core philosophy,
Andy, you want to play online poker or something?
I'm almost done. When it comes to what the core philosophy of redoing these jerseys and bringing the Rams into the 21st century and into a new stadium, a second era in LA, truly back ensconced in LA, they fucking fumbled every bit of it because they thought too hard. They thought way too hard and they screwed it up. And now we have to sit with this garbage for 2 years. This overthought, over dramatic, I don't know. I've run out of words to put together on it because it just, all I've come to understand through all this is they didn't understand a thing of what we actually wanted. Besides, they just said horns, blue and yellow, got it. That's not what this is. This is a uniform for a Ram team. It is not a uniform for the Rams.
This looks like the uniform that a mid-tier NCAA school with the nickname Rams comes up with because they don't want to look just like the NFL Rams. So they try to they try to put their own spin on it. That's what this looks like.
Yeah, if it was green and gold, you could make this Colorado State's uniform. And
oh yeah.
I just want to say really quick, Zach, you said they overthought it. Any thought at all that went into this was too much. There was one decision to make here. It took no thought whatsoever. Simply go to the throwbacks, be done with it. That's it.
I saw a quote from Demoff, and I don't have it in front of me, so it won't be exact, but he basically said something along the lines of, like, it's easy to go back. It's like it's bold to go forward.
Yeah.
And first of all, I hate that mentality. Secondly, I don't know if Kevin Demoff was paying attention, but the 3 most celebrated rebrands this offseason have been the Chargers, the Bucks, and the Browns. All 3 of whom basically said, we're going to go back to old uniforms that, everyone likes. And that was that. And people like it, right? So the thing about it is that it's a uniform. It's not high art. You shouldn't get participation points for, it's like, oh, you had a really bold idea and maybe it didn't work. Well, yeah, it didn't work, and now the team looks dumb. So you don't get credit for that. You shouldn't, the biggest problem I have with this uniform is honestly the way that it exposes what I feel to be the biggest flaw in the professional design community, I guess, or their mentality. I shared these screenshots with in the group chat. Andy, you didn't see them, but basically,
the design board.
The design board, basically. So the Browns released. Not the Browns. The Rams released.
Fucking bunch of assholes. Just
the Rams.
Please, if you're not listening to this podcast right now, listen to this bit right here.
The Rams released a video on the process that designed these uniforms, and in the background, you could see the design board that the designers were working with when they came up with these. And MDGP on the Kramer forums screenshotted them and zoomed in on the text. So this is what the designers who designed these were working with. First one, we got a picture of a bunch of brightly colored things, just brightly colored things from the world. The text says inclusion primary power deepened with multi-pop.
The fuck does that even mean?
Next picture, what I can only assume is a bunch of pictures of water in various forms, like waves. Like, I think there's a picture of the ocean. There's like a picture of, like, when you see like a hurricane from orbit. Like, this one says ambitious dreamers, upwards and outwards, depths of sky and sea.
Oh my God.
The final one are pictures of what appear to be, those, when you go into like a really fancy restaurant's bathroom and they've got like the glazed, like kind of like off-white tiling. So a lot of pictures of that. And the caption says, driven to shine, faceted, celebration and renewal.
Driven to shine like a bathroom.
These people are deranged. Like, and yes, I know they're not literally deranged, but they might as well be deranged. And what I'm getting at in this is that professional designers, y'all need to stop. All right. Y'all need to stop designing for yourselves. You need to understand that there is a broader audience who, as Zach put it, they just want their Rams. They want their Rams to look like their Rams, and you could repeat that for every other team. The Bucks didn't need to do what they did in 2014. People just wanted the Bucks to look like the Bucks, and y'all fucked that up, right? So it goes across all sports. And
yeah,
the thing,
and with this, like, I understand. Like, I also want to make this clear that I didn't expect them to just go straight back to the throwbacks copy paste.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that wasn't going to happen because of everything they've said and what they want to do in the new stadium and all the 9 yards. I understood that we weren't going to get copy paste of what the old one was. But I guess the comparison to make is the Rams to the Chargers, because the Chargers didn't necessarily copy paste an old uniform.
No.
They took the idea of the old uniforms. They took the spirit of the uniforms, the spirit of what Chargers aesthetics have been, and they made it
new.
They've tweaked it. They've made it new. And so what you had to do with the Rams is I didn't expect them to come out with block numbers and the whole just start with the throwback and tweak a little bit around it and clean it up, make it sleeker or whatever you need to do, and then go forward. It wasn't like we've all said, it's not difficult. You didn't need to do a straight copy paste, but you also didn't need to put the amount of effort that they put into it. Just it's easy to refresh a classic identity and not throw the whole thing out. It's
so easy, it makes you wonder how they even fucked it up, and it's just I don't know.
Hey, Mike, I need you to do me a favor.
Yo.
Can you read that Nike Speak shit again for me real quick?
Yeah, sure. Let me just pull that up. Going back up. Okay, so inclusion primary power deepened with multi-pop.
That is my reaction to all of that bullshit. It makes me ill to hear this stuff, and I saw some of this on the boards as well. But I'm looking at the uniforms here now, and from a distance, there's things to like, I guess.
This is a couple miles, as I said on the boards.
Yes, it's like I'm blurring my eyes a little, and just like the font shape, like the numbers are fine if they were solid. If they didn't have any silly horse shit. I could deal with the horn being circumcised or whatever it is if it was solid, but it wouldn't work if it was solid. Because
it's not the same shape as the old one.
No, because then it wouldn't be a horn. It would just be it'd be like somebody with a paring knife just cut a slice into the helmet, and it wouldn't make any sense. But the one thing that really troubles me, there's the bone, there's the stupid helmet, there's the gradient numbers, there's all the silly design horse shit that went into it. The one thing that really troubles me is the patch. And the patch has me terribly concerned because it is abso-fucking-lutely groundwork being laid for ads on uniforms in the NFL. And there's no other way to go about it. I don't know. Did you guys find anything to source the inspiration for that?
Actually, I did.
There's some bullshit for this too.
Was it a tidal wave that once crashed in romantically?
No. Oh, it's way better than that. Way better.
With the patch and then the stupid zigzag stitching on top of it is supposed to represent. It's supposed to be reminiscent of a designer's mark on fashion clothing.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen a really expensive T-shirt and it has the little logo, attached on the back. But of course, yes, it is possible that's the groundwork for ads. To me, it literally looks like they thought, oh shit, they probably got everything done. They're like, hey, we're gonna release these things on Wednesday. Is everything good about this? And they looked at them, they're like, I don't know if people are going to know that this is our uniform. And they're like, shit, you're right. Well, how do we do it? It's too late. Well, let's just put a name tag on it.
Hello, my name is Los Angeles Rams.
I don't. Okay, so apparently, and I'm just finding all of this out because I'm a lame white boy from Southern Ontario, so I don't know trends. But apparently there is a clothing brand called Off-White that was apparently the inspiration for the name patches. I've just been turned on. I found out in the thread. Basically, there's this brand called Off-White, and a big thing that they do is that they are big on labels. As an example, I Googled it, and you can buy a pair of Off-White sweatpants that just say pants down the side of one leg.
Kind of that's where the Browns got their idea, I bet.
Right. But another thing that they have is you can buy and Off-White, and the thing that makes me think that this actually might be a connection is that Off-White does work with Nike. Off-White has designed Off-White branded Nike shoes.
Okay.
And the reason why I bring that up is because like I looked up some of these, and like if you buy an Off-White branded Nike shoe, on the side of the shoe where like the foam heel is, it just says foam across it. So like I could see the idea being like, oh, we want to take inspiration from this like trendy clothing line. Like we're gonna put a label on the Rams jersey that says Rams.
I want a hat that just says hat on it. And inside the hat is another logo that says hat, and it's one of those mirror things that just goes on forever. But
again,
foam,
but like
I want a shirt that says shirt, a hat that says hat, and a pair of pants that say pants down the side. And just in case people were wondering, they would know what I'm wearing.
This is again one of those things where they don't get it because sure they wanted to say that there's parts of LA that are into fashion, and there's definitely a sect of people in Los Angeles that will go to Rodeo Drive or whatever and a fancy ass T-shirt with a dumb label on it that says shirt, but that is a small slice of what Los Angeles is. And here's the other thing, like, and we'll get into this, I think, a little bit more when we talk about Bone in full, but this is part of this designer trend we're talking about, where like these designers are so focused on trying to have like the heartbeat of the city inside all these uniforms. But you know what you also should do at the end of the day? This isn't necessarily just a uniform of Los Angeles, the football team. This is a uniform for the Los Angeles Rams. Make a Rams uniform and they'll just play in LA. You don't have to, lean this out to the fashion industry or the sands or the palm trees or the Fibonacci sequence waves. Like, just make a good fucking football uniform that you could place in any town in America, and it would be loved. It's really not that hard, but they wanted to speak to all these different facets of LA, where it's like, nobody. Do you think a Rams fan in Inglewood, in Downey, is going to give a damn about this fashion patch that you've sewn on the front? No, of course not. Like, the same way that somebody that lives in San Bernardino isn't going to give a damn about the sands of Los Angeles when they live in San Bernardino. Like,
so I just uploaded some pictures. I just uploaded some pictures of what we're dealing with here in terms of
a little black dress.
Yeah, a little black dress that literally says little black dress.
Yeah.
A pair of pants that literally says pants across it. And then a shoe with foam.
So this, I was browsing their website and found this. These are track pants, the unique feature of which is some fucking road stripes on the back, which look like they're duct tape.
$740.
Yeah.
Yep.
You want to know how much that shoe is that I posted? The Nike shoe that says foam on it. We're talking like north of $400.
Well, it does say foam because
it's ironic high fashion. It's literally like, this is people that hang out with the Kardashians. This is what they buy. It's and the fact that you're trying to appeal to that section of Los Angeles. If I hadn't already cast my lot with the Rams and just couldn't bring myself to be a Chargers fan, I'd be having second thoughts at this point. But I could. Now, granted, it does give me. It makes me happy to know that I could theoretically just start selling blank white T-shirts that say "shirt" across it in black lettering, and I could probably make a fortune. Like that's promising to know.
I want to meet the idiot that paid $740 for a pair of track pants. I really do. I want to meet that person. You know how many pairs of just plain old ordinary Adidas or Nike regular track pants you could get with $740?
Well, again, Greg,
I mean, bare minimum 10 pairs. Bare minimum. It's $75 a piece. It's
advertising to that certain section of the rich elite where, like, you can dress like you don't give a fuck.
The moron section of the rich elite?
Okay, but if you dress if you don't give a fuck, doesn't that usually mean you're just wearing like ratty sweatpants and t-shirts you have
Right,
laying around.
right. But you want fashionable ratty sweatpants and t-shirts, Mike, is the point.
Well, that just defeats the purpose. I thought the whole point of dressing like I don't give a fuck is to save money on clothing.
Welcome, Mike. This is how that other side lives.
I don't like it.
Oh, I just think it's crazy. That's just all sorts of stupid to pay $740 for.
Okay.
And they're not even. I mean, I'd almost be okay with it if they looked cool, but they just looked stupid.
Okay, so this is disappointing because I'm going through their store now and they have like an accessories tab, stuff that's not necessarily clothing, but just kind of like accessories. And they sell phone cases, right? And I'm disappointed that there isn't a phone case that just says phone.
Oh,
like, come on, man. That's
opportunity missed.
But now, granted, they do have a keychain that just says 4 keys. So,
as opposed to all the other uses it has, I guess.
So, is there a firm that did this? Is there like was this a outsourced firm?
No, this is Nike. This is so the reason this off-white stuff is coming up, aside from the similar sort of design things, because you'll notice, for example, in the picture that I sent, particularly of the Nike shoe, that you've got that really pronounced spiky stitching around the swoosh on the Nike shoe. And so between the really pronounced spiky stitching on the Rams uniforms and like the fucking patch that just says Rams, like people have been drawing the connection to Off-White. And the reason why I think that there's something there is because Off-White as a brand actually does do stuff with Nike. Like they do work with Nike. Now, I don't know if Off-White had any say in this, but it wouldn't surprise me if there were probably some, Full Sail University grads on the Nike design team who, were like, oh, hey, like the guys down the hall are doing stuff with Off-White. That's pretty bold. Maybe we should do that.
Fishing for those fire emojis, man.
I mean, hashtag fire.
And the spiky stitching is particularly prominent on transition. The bone uniforms.
I hate this.
Okay, on its face, I don't hate the idea of having the bone color be the base of a road uniform instead of white. The color itself does not bother. What bothers me is that they decided that this slightly off-white dingy color needed to be shown off as an off-white dingy color by placing it directly next to a white stripe and a yellow stripe. So your two lightest colors are being paired up against another light color. And it looks bad on the pants. The part that really drives me nuts about this set is that it's not cohesive in that, sure, there's horns on the blue one, and they say there's a horn on the bone one.
No,
not
that's
really.
where. That's a fucking lie.
It's a thin yellow stripe separating the bone from this white glob, and then they slapped these other spikily stitched rubber blue numbers on top of the yellow stripe. So, again, on its face, the color itself doesn't bother me. How it's all been thrown together, it's garbage.
And then there's TV numbers only on the white uniforms, and there's only on the blue uniforms.
And not only that, but you've got mismatching shoulder designs, as Zach said. The bone uniforms don't have a true horn, but the homes do, and you've also got mismatching patches because the patch on the on the home just says Rams, but on the road it says Los Angeles Rams. And on top of that, they put a white patch on an off-white jersey.
It looks dirty. Like if you're gonna make a uniform off-white, you have eliminated the use of white anywhere else on the uniform.
Yeah.
If it was bone, yellow, and blue, the design still sucks, but you can at least arrange those into something that could be cool, could be innovative, a new change in NFL uniform design. As such, it looks like shit.
This is just a top to bottom failure. They got the blue and the yellow right. That's it. Everything else is a disaster. I like the color of the helmet is fantastic. The color of it. The blue is awesome, and I think the normal ram horn on that would have just been amazing. But here we are. $1,350 for a blazer?
You're still on that site.
I was thinking about those track pants. You could go to Walmart and get a pair of like $10 track pants and buy some of that reflector tape that they have. Tape it on the back. You're good to go for $20, man. Right out the door.
The other thing to remember, of course, about the bone uniforms is, as I was alluding to before, the bone color isn't just the shaded part on the logo, which is literally what it is. There was no meaning when they were designing the logo, but they've chosen to attribute meaning after the fact, in that it is reminiscent of the sands of LA.
I got to give my girlfriend credit for this. She said it looked like the smog of LA.
Yeah,
which I thought that like a white jersey that sat out in the smog for 2 weeks. That's what it would look like. Would be like this.
Honestly, if they had called it that, it would have been kind of funny. I would be like, "That's cool. Yeah, good job."
This is reminiscent of a bar that still allows smoking inside. That's what this jersey looks like.
It's
if it was
definitely
reminiscent
like a
of
slush.
sand, you would have called it sand, like the Padres.
And the Padres, to their credit, I guess, it sort of looked like sand. This doesn't look anything like sand.
No, it's bone.
The bone by bone thing, I'm surprised it hasn't become a meme yet, but it will.
Yeah.
No, I'm surprised that we didn't lead this off by saying the Rams got boned, but
that was the name of the Uniwatch article about these was boned.
Yeah. I mean, you're always going to get people that are, oh, these are great. Look at this. This is so modern and blah, blah, blah. And in 3 years or 5 years, they'll be all thrilled when the Rams come back with something far more.
Well, that's the point that I was making, everyone defending Lee's, is that, look, man, we've been through this enough times to know this shit is going to be is anyone convinced that they will be wearing this in 15 years time?
No.
Anything with a gradient in it, like, that's the thing that I hate so much about the gradient too, is like, not only does it look bad right now, it will look completely dated in 2 years.
Especially if it's taking design cues from fashion that is like currently in now. Like, that shit is transitory.
Mm-hmm.
And so what's gonna happen is, I would normally say 5 years, but given how far up their own ass the Rams seem to be about this, I could see them holding out longer just to prove a point. But I'll say within 5 to 10 years, the Rams will be in some form of their classic look. Probably won't be a straight throwback, but they will be in some form of their classic look.
Well, what do you think the odds are that any of the two uniforms, because they also tease that they're going to have another new uniform in each of the next 2 years.
Well, it'll be
I would
black.
assume one of them would be yellow.
No, totally black. There's got to be a black one in there somewhere. Like, that's got to be, some shit for brains is like, would only sign the dotted line. I'm only going to do this if we can get a black uniform in there. And that's, but there is, like, I don't know what you could say. You could salvage this if you just changed a few things, but it honestly, it looks like a room full of designers got so far up their own asses with this design. Like when they were going over the shoulders of the bone in the white uniforms, where like somebody accidentally let a highlighter slip on the shoulder, and they're like, wait, leave it. That is beautiful. It's like, my hand just slipped. I was trying to draw like where we'd put the horn. No. Just that weird line. That is art. That is art. No.
Who posted the thing in the thread? I think it was in the thread, or maybe it was in the text. I don't remember. Where the designer, the chief, I guess the lead designer, looked at it and said, the whole way through, I thought, there's nothing I'd change about this.
Yeah, okay. So let me see if I can find the quote. I posted it in the text. Let me see. Like, there's so much bullshit here that it's hard to sort through.
That quote it's the logo, but did that quote also apply to the uniforms?
I don't know. I saw someone post it I saw someone post it on Twitter in response to the uniforms. But it's like, I glance back at it nearly every week, and not once yet have I said to myself, man, if only we would have done this. It just feels like we did it right. Steve McClard, Senior Design Director, Nike, on the Rams' new look.
Yeah.
You know what I think is taking place in the design world these days is they're all out to impress each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a problem.
Well, the problem I have with it, right, is, and we have touched upon this before. I would like to remind you all of the Timberwolves new look, right, where they claimed that the A was a runic symbol for wolf, and then it bothered me so much that I actually did fucking research and discovered that no, there is no Viking rune for wolf that looks like that.
No, the same no Viking rune for A, no Buccaneer sword carvings. Like it's made up. Yeah,
it's all made up. But the point that I want to make is kind of going off Greg's point that they're all trying to impress each other. Is that this strikes me as two things. One, you're all, and I hate to say this because like I could probably reasonably be described as overeducated, but like you overeducated, pretentious fuckwads. Like, I'm sorry you all need the need. You all feel the need to justify your Full Sail University degrees, but like this bullshit is not what people like, and it's not what people want. And when you design for yourselves instead of the audience that is consuming these products, you alienate them and you damage the brands that you've been hired to work on. And further, all of this might actually be clever or might actually be interesting in some way if you were actually as smart as your write-ups make as you desperately want people to believe you are, but you ain't. All right. All I had to do was pull off a book on Viking history off my bookshelf, and I figured out that your fucking runes on the Timberwolves new logo was bullshit. All right. I didn't even a Google search to me proved that your Tampa Bay Buccaneers sword carving numbers were bullshit. You're not even. I don't even want to say it's lies. It's just pretentious people who aren't as smart as they think they are, trying to prove that they are as smart as they think they are, and you come off like the most pretentious, full of yourself assholes that I can gather. And I admit, because I'm an opinionated motherfucker, and I can get far up my own ass about my own opinions at times. But you know what?
No.
At least when I do it, I try to come from a place of shit that I actually know, and I will rarely, it happens occasionally, but I will rarely dig myself into a hole trying to defend a point that I am fundamentally ignorant on. All right? At least when I get self-righteous about something, at least when I get full of myself about an opinion, I would like to think that I at least come from it from a point of informed information. You people are idiots. You are deranged idiots so far up your own ass about your own vision boards that you don't understand how stupid your nonsense is to the rest of us.
Especially that shit that you were talking about earlier. The only thing I can say about those sentences from the design boards was there were words in a row.
Yeah.
That was as much sense as it made. It was, I don't even know what to say about it. But yeah, I think they are a little too, I saw this happen in TV a lot, where it was so, in the production part of it, it was so like, insulated from the real world that basically you would throw something into a production just so that everybody that worked in production could see it and go, hey, that's pretty cool. And I think that's starting to happen here, where you see it, they come out, and I follow some of these guys on Twitter, and they go through these long, overwrought explanations of why they do things. And rarely has it ever come out that we did it because it looks damn good. It's always some philosophical, absolute, utter bullshit that makes no sense. It's like a star wipe in a TV show just to show you can put a star wipe in. Well, first off, star wipes look stupid. And secondly, just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it.
Do you guys want
Jurassic Park?
Do you guys want to know how much a 3-pack of Off-White underwear costs?
Yes, I really do.
$258.
$258 for something you're gonna shit in.
Well, not only that, but you're not gonna if you think somebody's gonna be impressed by those, if you're spending that kind of money on underwear, you ain't getting laid anyway. Somebody's gonna see them, so fuck off.
So. No, go ahead, Ryan.
The thing that really is hard here is that, we look at the Falcons uniforms a few weeks ago and how drab and dull and unimaginative they are. And they're there are flaws to that, and I think that is one thing that the people that designed this Rams uniform find as a positive, that it's generating buzz. It is a conversation. It's like abstract, very modern art that stirs the imagination. It challenges your perceptions, but it's the greater tragedy is sort of like what Greg has said. We've all kind of alluded to. There's a piece of football history here that was destroyed. This is very similar to that painting that got damaged in that church. It was like a 300-year-old painting, and the lady just drew like a doodly face on the picture of Jesus. And this is what it is. It is an ancient, sacred piece of sports iconography that has been smashed with a sledgehammer and had shit taped to it and crayons scribbled all over it, and they're calling it art. It is really sad. It is a mournful thing. Zach, if I was in your position, I mean, I would be hurt by this because it is not, I mean, it's one thing to be just a fan of the team, because there's a ton of Rams fans who are just totally buying into this stupid shit. But like, as somebody like Zach, who not only is a fan of the team, but is a fan of design and sports in general, it's like a kick straight in the balls. And I mean, I would have, if this was my team, I would have a very difficult time not taking it a little personally when they shovel this crap into my face.
Well, it's the instant I got the notification about these, the instant I opened my phone, I looked at them for 5 seconds, and then I opened up NFLshop.com and bought a throwback, because I just knew that there's no way in hell that I can commit to buying any new merchandise. Like, the only thing I've even looked at potentially is a hat with the Ram head logo on it, because that's the only like visual thing that I can see myself even allowing. I'm not gonna buy a jersey, like, unless any of these other two alternates are really appeal to me somehow, which I doubt. Unless either of those alternates appeal to me, I'm not buying a jersey for the next 5 years.
I mean, at least the Falcons
and that sucks because, I made sure, I did have a jersey before. It was the throwback, and it was Todd Gurley. It's let go, so I was like, okay, well. And he had been kind of a jerk over the last year and a half, so I really wasn't happy with having that jersey anymore. So I made sure to get Aaron Donald, because I'm like, okay, all-time NFL lineman, I could be happy wearing this one for the next 5 years at the very least, until it goes away. But there's no way that I'm buying any merchandise with that LA logo on it. There's no way that I'm buying any jerseys. There's been a cool hoodie that's been out and about that I haven't seen actually sold, but it looks like the jersey on the front, and then on the sides of the hood are the horns. And I keep saying to myself, that's actually pretty cool if it were the old look. But the fact that it's the new one, there's no way in hell I would ever bring myself to actually buy that. So beyond feeling hurt, I sincerely hope it won't happen, because even the Buffa Slug set merchandise records for the Sabres, right? People are still going to buy these things, and the people in charge are still going to get the wrong idea and think that, well, it's just a very vocal minority that hate these, and everybody else likes them just fine. No, there's just a lot of people that buy whatever the hell the team makes. So,
I can probably,
like you said, Andy, it's NFL history that's been broken by just desecrating the helmet logo at the very least.
Andy posted a picture in the thread of the all yellow Color Rush uniform, which I hated. And to honest to God, looking at that compared to what they're going to wear next season, I'm going, this is way better. Way better.
Upgrade.
No.
Massive upgrade.
Yeah.
Because when I bought the throwback, I was looking on there, and the Color Rush jersey's on sale too, and I'm like, you know what? This doesn't look too bad anymore.
I mean, honestly, Zach, if I were in your position, just take advantage of the fire sale. Stock up. It's going to be a long 5 to 10 years.
I can't believe I hate Color Rush jerseys with an irrational passion. And I'm looking at that going, damn, that looks pretty good by comparison. And it does. You look at that, I would have rather they come out with this. If they said, here's your choices, this whatever the fuck it is that they just came out with, or these all yellow uniforms, I'm like, yeah, give me the all yellow, I think.
Well, I mean, what you're seeing here.
I would take the yellow painting uniform that we saw every day in the thread for 6 months over these.
Like if this image was black and white, and the only thing I find really bad is the toilet bowl collar thing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean that's a football uniform. You know, guys wear that when they play football, and they don't. It doesn't give me some sort of appeal to emotion. I don't look at that uniform and go, God, you know, I look at those horns and the numbers, and my feet are in the sands of Los Angeles. I can feel the salt from the ocean splashing me in the face.
You don't see the Fibonacci sequence in the logo and get a sublime revelation about life.
99% of NFL fans have never even heard of a fucking Fibonacci. Like they hear that and they're like, you know, they get insulted because you're using some foreign evil speaking tongue. Like, you know, I speak English. Don't use this Fibonacci. It's racism.
Do you want to know where I learned of the Fibonacci sequence? On the TV show Lost. Not in college, on Lost. That's the first time I'd ever fucking heard of it. That's the uniform, only. Yeah.
This is the uniform equivalent of the ending of Lost. Where it leaves you, where it leaves you confused and you just kind of feel something, but it's not positive.
Does that make the Falcons uniforms the uniform equivalent of the end of Game of Thrones?
Ooh,
sure. Why not? I didn't watch Game of Thrones.
It's just angry. You're just angry.
Yeah. But yeah, God, I can't believe this. Those color rushes look so good by comparison, and they're horrible. Let's be honest. It's like bananas with blue.
It's just a simple thing. It's like the Rams jersey, and you got like the horn on it, and it's the colors that they need to be, and it's just
and that's the beauty of the Rams design, is that the helmet is your brand. You know, like the helmet is a brand. It speaks for the entire design. If you leave everything else alone, make it minimal as hell, it makes the Ram helmet even more, like it makes it stand out far more. Like if anything, if you didn't even need stripes of any kind at all. You didn't need. I mean, you could have taken away the shoulder horn, as long as you left that helmet and let it really be the statement of your uniform. You would have been just fine. It might have been a little bland, but it would have been just fine.
Well, like that's the thing that I'm scrolling through the pictures of the current uniforms again, just kind of scrolling through, trying to take a mental list because I really want to eviscerate these things.
I can't even look at them now. I'm sorry. Fuck that. I'm going back to the color rush.
But the thing I just keep stopping on and staring at is the helmet, because this 3D design that they tried with the horns, because that's what they're trying to do, right? Because Rams horns don't actually look like that. This is what they actually have an angle on them and they curve, and I understand that, you monsters, but like like when I'm staring at this, I don't see what they're getting at. Like,
well, not only that, let me throw this
what they're trying to show me is not showing up, and like I have to really look at it hard, like, you know, one of those stupid eye puzzles where it's like two cubes and you can look at it. Well, if you look this way, if you look at this way, it's pointing down. I have to really stare at the helmet, because otherwise, when I look at it straight on, I see two crescent moons. I see a spike and a crescent moon, or as Eric Dickerson said, two bananas together on the helmet.
Yes, definitely.
Like, my question is this. Why do they have to look like actual ram horns? We get it with the old helmet. We got that. Those don't look like, I mean, come on. And when did it become a thing where you have to look as much like we can make you look like your name as possible?
So have you guys heard the reason why the horns are truncated now?
No.
Have you heard this genius bit of reasoning? Okay, so you know how the classic identity had that extra curve, right?
Right.
Which we all agree looks nice. Well, apparently, ram's horns only loop around that much in nature if they're older, and so the team decided to go with a shorter ram horn to indicate that these rams are younger and faster.
Fuck you.
Nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit.
Nobody cares.
Nobody knows or cares.
Yes.
Make it look like it used to look like, you idiots.
I mean, Monsters is right. I mean,
look, this is what happened. This is what happened. The Bucks and the Browns forced Nike to put together like just simple, nice, like just do the right fucking thing and make it look nice. And Nike's designers, as Greg pointed out, were probably putting those uniforms together crying, and they needed an outlet. And like we need a place to let our creativity fly. And then the Rams were like, well, we're interested in some bullshit. And they're like, oh, well, fantastic.
You just keep looking at all these pictures, and it's just, I don't know how they can fuck this up. I mean, really, I don't know how anybody could look at, like, we've got a picture of, I think it's, is it Jim Everett there in the white jerseys? And then you got another shot of the entire defense and the blue and the gold, and the blue and the gold again. And you got the Bucks and the Browns and all that. And how did anybody look at this disaster and go, yeah, this is better than the throwback look? And I know you think you couldn't have gotten a copy and paste, Zach. That's exactly what they should have done, because that's what everybody wanted.
I mean, I honestly do think that you could take that classic Rams look and tweak it ever so slightly to get a good, to get a nice modern look. But like, if the option is just go back or what we got, then yeah, go back.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal, though. So I'm staring at these stupid uniforms again.
Short blast.
I really like, before we go, I want to give like a list breakdown of how much I hate these things. But as I continue to stare at them, if I give you two things or three things, we'll go three things. One, solid yellow numbers. Don't change the font. You don't like the font. Leave the font as is. Take away the white and make it a solid yellow number. Get rid of the name tag. And connect have a connecting horn, make the horn look like it used to. If this design stayed as is, but you had yellow numbers and a completed horn, that blue over yellow would be perfect.
That look pretty good. Yeah, I have to agree.
That'd look as good as you could get for a modern, like, if you want to go modern with it, that would be modern enough. It's still taste of the past. It would be exactly what we would have wanted from this. It would be the Rams versions of what the Chargers did. Very good. Fine. And then, replicate that on the white or bone if you so choose, and done. But they didn't. Like, again, it's like I stare at it and that's why I keep coming back to it and thinking, I'm trying to do the thing of like rationalizing it and convincing myself that it's okay, because I look at it and I think you're really not that far off, but yet you're still a million miles away. It's just so weird like that.
Well, I mean, that's the tragic thing is, like, it's not hard to design a good Rams uniform, and it's so easy that even when they fuck up, it's like almost there.
Yeah. I mean, the bone uniform is irredeemable. Like, there's nothing design wise about that.
So people saying stuff. So people saying stuff like people would say stuff like, "Oh, that bone jersey is going to look better wearing it on the street with jeans than like the throwback." One, no, that's debatable. Two, just because I go, "Oh, I'd like a suit in that color," doesn't mean I want a football jersey in that color.
Right.
It's one of those things that we've talked about before with like fashion jerseys. Mm-hmm. Sure, you could sell you could sell some of these things as fashion jerseys and people would buy them, and sure, they could look cool as streetwear, but they're not uniforms.
Oh,
like we've seen that a lot in the NBA. There's a lot of these jerseys that are coming out. It's like, hey, you could sell that in the shop and people would buy it and it'd be fine. I don't ever want to see it on the court, or in this case on the field, but sell it, fine, whatever. But
by the way, we in this cornucopia of bad decisions that these uniforms are, we forgot one thing that is relatively small potatoes, but still pisses me off. On the back of the bone jerseys, you have that stupid
tab.
Yellow tag. Yeah. Why is that there?
I'm just looking at this picture of my Browns. God damn, they look good again.
I know, man. I keep going back to that Browns picture, and I'm just like biting my lip, like, fuck yeah, like look at that shit.
That's what a football team. That's an NFL uniform, right?
Why is this necessary? Why is that yellow gold tag necessary? Look at that.
Well,
why?
I think honestly there is a lot to what you were saying. I think there is some truth, or to use an expression, some meat on the bone, for like people at Nike who like had to surrender on the Browns and surrender on the Bucks, to where they're like, and I'm sure the Falcons, they probably wanted to do a lot of worse shit with the Falcons, but they nixed a lot of that. And they said, you know what? We're just going to blow our wad on the fucking Rams. We're just going to go absolutely ape shit with the Rams because fuck them. That's why. Because we
It's like,
had to give up our Browns and our Bucks.
I had to design 2 whole uniforms this season with straight pant stripes. No more.
No,
Well, I mean, I swear to God, it's like, I'm sure when they designed the Browns uniforms, like obviously they're trying for revisions, but like I'm sure there was somebody at some point of the chain that was like, don't you guys want anything else? Isn't there anything else you'd like on this? Can't we like expand the brand? And somebody was like, no, just leave it the fuck alone. Like, doesn't that look great?
What do you feel about an orange to white gradient on the brown? Why? Why would we do that?
I would have fucking driven to Oregon and kicked somebody's ass. I would have been like, that's it. You've done it twice now. I can't let this stand any longer. No more.
But no, like there's definitely like someone was you fucking know it, especially like you see it among some people, for the Rams and the Bucks, in the Kramer threads, right? Where most people are like, oh, these look nice, but then you have a few people are like, they just went back. Why would they do that? And it's like, because that was the right decision.
And that same person that will ask that when you ask them what their favorite uniform is, will go like the Bears, the Raiders, the Cowboys, the Steelers. It's like, yeah, get it. The Steelers, they've been like that since basically since 70, I guess, where they've got like the look we're used to now. But like the Cowboys, nobody talks about like, well, they need to be updated. I mean, some people do, and fuck them for saying it. But they moved into a new stadium. They didn't go, hey, we're going to change the uniforms up now. We're going to make the star really big, or it's going to, I don't know. I know that with the
star is now all at exact 45-degree angles.
Right.
It represents the.
But McCarthy brought up these new Rams numbers with that sticky shit on them. That's going to make it easy for them to be tackled, isn't it?
And
I was thinking about that with the tab on the neck. Like, I don't know if that's gonna, if it's like a true tab where like it's raised, or is it sewn completely down?
Well,
I can't tell.
This wouldn't be the first time they did this. So we all remember the contrasting stitching to show off the craftsmanship of Cleveland.
Yeah, that's why I bought 80 of those jerseys just for that alone.
well, apparently, if you just use regular stitching in the way these jerseys are made, contrasting stitching wouldn't be that visible because like it's too small, the threads are too fine. So in order to actually have the contrasting stitching stand out as much as they did on those Browns uniforms, they had to use a thicker thread for the stitching. And apparently players hated it because it would catch on their pads when they're trying to put their jerseys on. So if these numbers make it easier to be held or tackled, or if this tab makes it easier to be tackled, like this won't be the first time that Nike's done some bullshit like that actively harms the way that players play the game. Which is hilarious because you get all of these design people who come in and they're like, well, these advances, are made with players, player input in mind. And, you might not like it, but this is what the science is. It's like you put giant rubber numbers on the Rams uniforms. Like anyone is going to be able to drag a ball carrier down now. Like, congratulations.
Yeah. Think about those receiver gloves that they wear that have basically that same material on them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if you're a defender and you've got those gloves on, you grab those numbers, you're stuck, man. You've got grip right there.
Yeah.
But I like the reflective part though, because I think we're that much closer to actual LEDs on uniforms. It will happen.
I mean, Greg, you've been pushing for this for a while, so it's just another.
It will happen,
I guess.
It won't be in the NFL. It'll be in college, but some team is going to come out with some sort of an LED uniform. Wait and see.
Oh, by the way, Andy is actually correct. Nike actually wanted to do worse shit for the Falcons. So the stoop. That stupid like truncated stripe along the side of their pants.
Right.
Apparently, if you watch like the videos about those Falcons uniforms, one of Nike's original like mock-ups had like tiny versions of those stoop stripes along the sides of the socks.
Oh
so,
Lord.
At the very least,
there was. Speaking of these design videos, I went to go find the ones the Rams put out when the logo came out. And as far as I can tell, they don't exist anymore. So I don't know if they got rid of them because people were like, hey, but what's that on the drawing board? Doesn't that look better? And they're like, no, it doesn't. It's not. What are you talking about? That video's not there.
I don't understand why they would do that. It's like, oh, here's our new Fibonacci sequence, like Gradient logo, and like in the background you have a bunch of like Ram logo mock-ups on the drawing board. Like, hey, like that one looks pretty good. Why didn't you go with that one? Like,
They should never do that. It's like when the Clippers unveiled their just like logo with the square, and it's just kind of boring and shitty. And then you see the concepts in the background where they're like beautiful, cool concepts.
It's like, here's the Clippers ship logo we designed. It's all nautical. Like, why didn't you go with that?
Because we wanted the black rectangle. There it is.
Here's my block logo. Also black. Like, I'm looking at this. I'm totally gonna make one of these. The whole I don't have it queued up, but the Larry David show, Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Like that's one of the great modern memes where like somebody's like, I'm looking at the Falcons' new uniforms, and like the three main ones. I'll paste the image here for you. It's just like pure shit. But then on the far right, I totally am just envisioning a like Curb Your Enthusiasm theme zooming in on the throwback that is so much obviously superior to all three of the other ones. But he's just kind of sadly in the background there, just standing, like forgotten and great. Ugh.
To the Falcons' meager credit, at least they had the good sense to keep the throwback in the rotation.
Yeah.
Who's to say the Rams didn't leave those other two slots for like emergency bail? Everyone bail out.
Like, you have to, like, oh no, everyone hates it. Throwbacks.
Right. Because there's clearly like Zach posited yellow is a possibility. You got to think it probably is, but at least one of them you think would be for a throwback. I mean, just for the sake of just helping themselves out.
So there's two unveiled slots left, and I've got like 4 ideas going through my head. One is they could actually just do like the white version of the home blues, because they obviously didn't do that on the road. They went with this bone idiocy.
And they specifically have not designated the bone uniform as the official away uniform.
So they don't have an official away uniform, basically.
Technically, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think one possibility is like a white version of the home. The other possibility is, as Andy said, it's like a black uniform because some marketing jackoff was like, we need black.
And that white uniform would have like a yellow to blue gradient instead of white.
Oh, it would, yes.
Yeah.
And then the other two options are a yellow version or a throwback. Got 2 slots.
And then you have 2 options for the throwback too. Like I could see them very easily saying, "Well, what about the white one?" Because they think that so many people actually want that. When it's like, nope. Most of us weren't alive for those ones, so.
That's the thing. Like, so that's one other thing I wanted to touch on is that CSLC poster, Sod Boy, actually posited an interesting conspiracy theory about these.
Okay.
And his theory was that if you go back like to the point when like this whole process started, right? Like Demoff did a lot of interviews where he actually said like he likes the blue and white, right?
Yeah.
Right. Like not the blue and gold. So the theory is that when Kroenke bought the team and the rebranding process first kind of started up, that basically Demoff went to Nike and was like, "Hey, I like the blue and white. Can we do blue and white but make it, more unique?" And blue and bone was what Nike came up with. And then they actually got to LA, and then they saw that everybody loved the blue and gold. And then you add in the year delay in the uniforms because the stadium construction was delayed, and it all comes to, so that adds more time to work on it, and so the idea is that basically that Subway came up with is that the original idea was like blue and bone uniforms, and it's going to be an updated version of the blue and white, and then they shoehorned gold in when they realized that's what people wanted, which is why they describe the bone as inspired by the color of a ram's horn, yet all the horns are gold because they switched it out at more or less the last second.
Crazier things have happened.
Maybe, but I think that the other thing that yes, Demoff said that he liked the blue and white initially, but the thing that he got, straight out of the very first meetings he had with fans was, again, like that we wanted to keep the horns and that blue and yellow was the preferred color scheme. And I think he kept trying to like do more research and try to like justify, well, but maybe you guys would actually like the white. And we're like, no, the blue and yellow is fine. But maybe white used to be the color scheme. Yeah, but no.
I think that they only wore the whites from like 69 to, it wasn't very long, 67 to 71, like 4 years.
The large majority of the Rams' existence has been blue and yellow.
But yeah, like, I mean, Andy kind of sums it up. Imagine going from, that nice throwback look to just like that gradient nonsense.
It's a 5-year prison sentence. Like you're basically said, like, they basically said, hey, that team you like, you can enjoy the product on the field. What if I'm a Rams fan? What I'm hoping for, as weird as this may sound, is that you do not win a championship wearing these fucking things, because then they're going to be protected.
It's the first thing I thought about, because the thing that worries me now is like it's going to make me regret that Super Bowl loss to New England forever.
They could have won in the throwbacks.
If they had won in the throwbacks, we wouldn't be having this discussion today, I don't think. Like, I think that would have changed the entire direction of this redesign. But the problem is now we're like this, and the Rams are still in a position to cobble together a competitive, team that maybe this is what they end up, if they do win a Super Bowl, this is what they would end up winning it in. And that scares the hell out of me.
Look, Zach, I have been a huge proponent of the Rams going back to LA. I want the Rams to succeed in LA. I want them to do well. I hope they have a Browns-esque run for 5 years. And you know what? They can turn it all around and win the Super Bowl in year 6 when they go to the throwbacks. But for these 5 years, I want like 1 in 15, 2 and 14 seasons down the line.
Mike, how about this instead? Let's do an 80s Browns run where they get close and they keep losing. And that would really put a stink on those uniforms. Because if they're just terrible, people don't really care that much.
Oh, you have like some Rams running back who like got tackled at the 2-yard line with 0 cents. Like, I really felt I could have made it, but he just grabbed my numbers and he pulled me down.
Like in the next NFC Championship, Mitch Trubisky leads a 93-yard drive to beat the Rams. Like at the last minute,
Jesus
that kind of
Christ.
thing.
Mitch Trubisky.
I was going to use Aaron Rodgers, but I didn't want to piss Andy off.
Yeah,
so.
all right. I'm already dead inside.
But
or better yet, we'll use who's the big NFC quarterback these days?
Tom Brady.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
Rams
Tampa Bay
championship, and
I'm still going to be rooting for the team at this point, guys. Please don't like.
No, but we need to have this happen to get rid of the uniforms. Is what I'm saying. If you're just awful,
I don't need Tom Brady to crush my dreams again, man.
Okay,
like,
I want to ask you guys a serious question. I'm looking at this, and I think I like the Rams uniforms more than the new Jets uniforms. I think I do. I think the uniform, the Jets
uniforms,
the new
stupid.
The new Jets uniform is, I mean, the Rams uniforms do suck. They are a sacrilege, but that Jets uniform, that thing needs to be taken out back and shot.
That Jets uniform, I think you actually said it best, Andy, in your helmet ranking, where you said, like, imagine how many millions of dollars the Jets spent to decide that the word Jets of a football was the logo to go with.
It's just, there's nothing. Like, the Falcons have more character than this. The Jets uniforms on the whole are...
They're exactly what I would expect from the New York Jets.
It's but I mean, not to take away from what we're mourning here in episode 500. By the way, 500 episodes. Well,
episode 500, and it's the Rams episode. Like,
are just desserts.
I feel like there should be. like a celebratory, like, da-da.
As I said, we're going to do an Ask Us Anything show next week because, as I said in the thread setting it up, none of us even realized this was episode number 500. By the time we figured it out, it was too late to really do anything for it. So we'll
plus
with the Rams.
Plus, we had to discuss things.
Well, but back to like the Super Bowl winning thing. That's not a guarantee with the Rams because remember what they won the Super Bowl in?
That's
Yeah.
true. They won the.
No,
they
those
won,
were
they won
St.
the
Louis.
classic look.
Those were. Oh yeah, they did, didn't they?
Yeah, they won the they won the Super Bowl in the classic look, and then the year later, the next year is when they switched to the blue and the navy
Notre
and the
Dame
dark
colors.
Yeah.
Wait, was that like the exact year after? So like
Yeah, it was literally the right year.
Oh, so it was like a penguin situation where it was already in motion. You couldn't.
Right.
Yeah. Well, actually, apparently the Rams wanted to be in the blue in like the St. Louis colors, the dark blue and the dark gold for the Super Bowl year, but they filed the paperwork a year too late, so they had to delay it by a year. They ended up winning the Super Bowl in the meantime.
Anyway, it's just
So
before
I
we
think
go.
that it's safe to say that none of us are very happy with the new Rams uniforms.
No.
Can
Yeah.
I just do a list? Let me list. Can I list? Can I
Sure.
list?
Sure, list away.
I'll give you the positives. This is a wrap up of this thing. The positives: blue, yellow, both very good. Helmet color, good. Blue face mask, I like it more than I thought I would. The middles, like the font is fine. Choice of actual font, it's fine. Yeah, I actually don't mind the horn design on the shoulders. It's fine. The rest. The horn sucks. The gradient sucks. The lack of TV numbers suck. The patch sucks. The squiggly stitching on the patch sucks. The other positive I'll give, I like the blue over yellow. I can, if they look like that every week, I'll be mad about it, but I will be less mad than I would otherwise. The all blue pajamas look is particularly egregious. I think it might be worse than the all bone look. I guess that's it for the home. The road, the bone uniform sucks. The little squigglies in the numbers kind of suck. The white patch on the bone sucks. The squiggly stripe sucks. The exaggerated stitching sucks. This so-called horn on the sleeves sucks. The white against the bone again sucks. That one thin yellow line sucks. The gold tab sucks, especially because they have to use the version with the blue letters. So you get the horn that doesn't look like a horn.
Yeah.
The all bone sucks. Actually, I like the blue socks look better. The bone socks with the bone pants and the bone jersey, really bad.
The bone X bone.
Yeah, and I don't like the difference between the chest number font and the shoulder number font on the bone. That's also bad.
Okay.
So a lot of bad. But the colors
Correct.
are good.
There you go.
That's the summary.
Well, yeah, I think we can all agree that these get an F, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, F.
Yeah, I won't even be generous and be like a D-. Like no. F.
No, F. Yeah.
So with that, Andy brought up the idea, and this is going to be a thing that we're going to do. Well, you know what? We're at an hour and 17. Do we want to save the basketball uniforms for next week?
Sure. Yeah. No,
Okay.
I'm fine. I'm fine with dedicating episode 500 to just squatting and shitting on the Rams' new uniform. They deserve it. They deserve to hear the feedback and the ire. The NBA stuff. I was just.
They know what they did.
Yeah, and I mean that kind of the ranking top 3, whatever. We can do that anytime. So I mean that's this took priority. This was a crisis, and
Well,
we need
like
to
I said
mourn.
at the top of the show, you've taken one of, probably behind the Cowboys, the most iconic helmet in football, and you fucked it up. I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you look at that and go, yeah, this is better than the one that they've worn for 1,000 years.
Again, this is the team that invented the helmet logo.
Yeah.
Like to be the team that invented the helmet logo and to fuck it up so royally is
Well, it's like I told you when they debuted. 5 years goes by faster than you think it does. So there's that, I guess. I am proud to say it, Zach. I think you'll find yourself doing this too. I'm proud to say that I did not buy a single piece of Browns merchandise from those modern fucking awful jerseys. I didn't buy any of that shit the whole time. I either bought throwback stuff with Brownie on it, or I didn't get anything at all. And but I forgot I wanted to bring this up when you were talking, when Andy said it's like, and you said it's like it pisses you off and all that. we remember what you saw it happen on the show when the Browns went to those uniforms. I was like, I can't even root for these guys anymore. This isn't my team. This isn't what I grew up with. This isn't the team that, and I thought they were trying to just kind of like cleanse the palate of all of us old Browns fans and go, this is the new team. This is for the young people and fuck you guys and go be Steelers and Packers and Bears fans and the hell with all of you. And that was what I thought was happening. And now they're back and I feel like a Browns fan again. It's weird. It shouldn't matter if it does.
The difference though is, again, I didn't grow up rooting for the Rams. Like I knew that if a team was coming back to LA and if that team happened to be the Rams, I was like, based on all these other factors, like probably the team I would have rooted for had they stayed, and so it would be the team that I root for when they come back. Especially if my options were Raiders, Chargers, Rams, I was always going to pick the Rams. And so, and I loved the imagery of the throwbacks. I loved that history, and that's all gone now. And maybe you're right. Maybe when they do take the field, if they do in the year 2020, I'll look at them and say, I don't really know what I'm looking like. I think it's one of those things where, like, from far enough away, like on TV, it'll still look like a blue uniform over a yellow pant with some sort of horn on the helmet, and that's why, like, I keep like looking at him and like maybe trying to bring myself back, and then I just stare at the details too long, and it pisses me off. On like a general glance on TV, it'll be fine, but I'll just know that that's not what I want.
What's going to happen is
and like you said, like when it comes to like buying merchandise. Well, just like what you said with like buying merchandise, the only thing that I'm even going to consider is if I can find something with the Ram head logo on it, and I have to like it. Like there's some stuff with it on there, and I'm still like, not really. But I know that like I will never own anything with an LA logo on it. It just.
Well, I did. I have to say, I bought one hat that just had the Cleveland Browns basically written out in their font on the hat. That's the only. But like as far as a jersey, none of that. But I think what you'll find will happen is you will find a version of the uniforms that's palatable. You won't like it, but you'll be like, okay, this isn't the worst possible thing I've ever seen. With me and the Browns, it was the all white look. I said, okay, I can live with this. I don't think it's great, but it isn't awful. It's not like just fuck all. Oh my God, this is a disaster. It's pretty close. But I could live with it. I think that's what you're going to find with the Rams. You'll find when you go, okay, this isn't the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, the blue over yellow, I think is that, because the all blue, like with this shade of blue, head to toe blue, they look like pajamas. Like I've never really thought that about any of the monochrome looks. I just thought monochrome looked bad, generally speaking. But these literally look like pajamas. I don't like it at all. The blue over blue, and then the bone is.
I got to give the Rams design team credit. They got me to like a color rush uniform, which I didn't think was possible, but they did it. So give them credit for that. But anyway, so yeah, one more thing I wanted to bring up before we closed out. I can't remember what it was now.
Oh, Greg, did you watch NASCAR this weekend?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's actually what I wanted to bring up now that you mentioned it. Not the NASCAR part of it. I watched it. You would think that with NASCAR, not having fans in the stands, because you don't really hear them anyway, would make no difference. But it was weird. It was just weird watching those cars run around in a completely empty track. Just strange. And I wanted it to be like, okay, this is cool, but it just doesn't feel right. And I got a feeling as we go forward with these sports, it's going to be a novelty for a little bit, but it's just strange. And you guys know how much I love NASCAR, and it was like, I can't even watch this. It's just too weird. It just reminds you of how fucked up everything is. But we'd been talking about leagues trying to find their way back and all that. I can't pronounce the name of the league in Germany, the soccer league that came back.
Bundesliga.
Okay, Bundesliga came back, and just as I had worried about, 2 guys on one of the teams tested positive. That team's out for 14 days now.
Yeah, and two guys on one team, and then a coach of another team left his hotel room to go get toothpaste. Yeah. Had to go back under quarantine for another 2 weeks.
Yeah, so you've already lost a team. And that's what I fear is going to happen if we try to do this. I don't know. We can't just shut down sports until this is over, or until a cure or a vaccine or whatever comes along, can we? I mean, that's a lot of money that, that's going to put ESPN out of business. Well, maybe not. They're under Disney. But you're talking – and not just the players or the fans. What about all the people that work for the teams? from the stadium vendors all the way up to the front offices and stuff. My goodness, you're talking a lot of jobs being lost there. But yeah, that was my big concern. If they tried to do this, is that one team tests positive and you lose at least that team, and now what? What do you do? So just wanted to throw that in.
All you can do is try. I mean,
yeah.
You try to do something, and I mean, I appreciate the imagination that goes into some of these ideas, but you know, if you can go through all the red tape and get something to happen, yeah, you'll have some short-term returns and probably some very happy fans for a while. But I mean, if it falls apart, it falls apart, and that's that. You know, I mean, it's again like there's a lot of this is unprecedented, and I think that. I mean, personally, I'm ready for sports to come back. I'm bored as hell, and I miss the cultural, some normality. But this isn't normal. This isn't a normal time, and we just, if the leagues want to try it, God bless them. I hope they make it work. But I just, like you said, I feel like it's probably not going to work this year. But the last thing I wanted to say, as far as uniforms go, and I think that this goes just beyond. What a lot of people feel about just uniform design in general is that when a person becomes a fan of the team that they like, it's generally almost entirely either because of family or because of how the team looks. And when people look on TV, if they're just discovering their love for football or basketball or whatever, a lot of times, unless their parents or brothers or whatever are wearing that jersey, the thing they look for is how cool it is and say, man, like that Bears uniform looks really cool. It looks kind of timeless. It looks like it's been around a long time and it's going to be around a long time. People like that. People like the stability of getting into something that appears to have cultural bones and is long-term. I want to if I'm going to invest in this, if I'm going to give my heart and soul to this team as a fan, I want to know they're going to be around for a long time. And obviously people in the early 90s, Browns fans that came into the fold a little bit too late, got screwed. But for the most part, if people see something with a gradient or some sort of goofy bullshit, like a half gold helmet, they're going to bow out and they're going to find some other team. They're going to find the Steelers. They're going to find the Cowboys, and so on. So what the Rams did not only was just an insult to a really iconic institution, it was really just kind of spitting in the face of a lot of fans and saying, you don't know what good uniforms look like we do. And they are quite wrong.
They're quite wrong about that. I will say this on the uniform thing. If the Bears ever change their uniforms, I'm done with the NFL. That's it. The Browns have done it. I lived through it. The Packers probably won't ever do it. If the Bears do it, fuck it, I'm finished, because that means nothing means anything at that point. It's all meaningless. It's all pointless. It's just an existential wasteland, and I'm done fucking with it. I don't care, because the Bears have the best home uniforms in football. I will die on that hill. Fuck anybody that disagrees with me.
The number you have dialed is not in service at this time.